Welcome, guys. Shake hands.
Plenty of smiles pre-match, no surprise, and I think we should talk a bit more about Boavista because a lot of the guys here know each other very, very well, but perhaps a bit of a surprise even amongst the players how well Boavista have done. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think if you were, if you were from an outsider looking when the first, the three guys were named as a lineup, I think a lot of people would have had raised question marks as to, oh, okay, so what have they done in the game type of questions, but they're certainly proving and have proved week on week that they deserve to be here purely on merit and the way that they are, they're playing and bringing themselves forward. As we can see how their game plan is evolving almost. We see now they're taking a 4-3-3 approach, whereas last couple of match days we've seen a 5 at the back,
yeah.
Celtic seem to be reverting to their own type in terms of their own formation, which they're honing this 5 at the back kind of mentality.
I was just going to say, Harry, can you tell me what formation that is? Because I have absolutely no idea.
It's a curious one, isn't it? It's almost like a 5 at the back, but with 2 up top somehow. I want to say a 5-3-2 if I was going to really put some numbers to it, but it's one that Celtic used last week very, very well. Last match day, I should say, against AS Monaco, who, at that point were undefeated, as we just saw have suffered their first loss of the season. But take nothing away from Celtic in those 2 matches. I mean, having to come back from behind, against a team like AS Monaco is not easy to do. So Boavista last match day when I interviewed them, I think Barbosa said that their season starts now. They've got all the tough teams out the way. They can now start to really pick up some serious points. We'll see if they can do it here against Celtic.
8 of their 13 goals he has scored. Joint second top scorer. Everyone's now miles behind Killsy because of what he did earlier against Barcelona, but that is an extraordinary percentage of Boavista's goals for one player to have scored.
Yeah, he is the man. He is the man for Boavista in terms of in front of goal. And there's not a lot really more you can say about it. If you're a viewer at home, you're keeping your eyes on Barbosa's cursor to see exactly where he is on this pitch because, judging from historically, is that's where the goals are going to come from.
For Celtic, Indominators had the most successful passes already had coming in to match day 5, so expect to see him on the ball a lot, I would imagine, if things go the way they have so far. Harry.
Yeah, and some of the complexion of this Celtic FC lineup we expected early on within the first 3 or so match days for Horcha to really be the defensive captain, so to speak, really in charge of the back line, making sure everything in midfield is solid as well, and just allow the twin brothers Jos and Jan Sonneveld, Dominator and Indajawa, really to take the lead in the attacking sense. But that's been far from it, really. The 2 twin brothers have been top of the assist category, and Horcha has been the one to really finish the goals. He's their leading goal scorer by 5. So again, both teams really defying expectations. We're expecting Celtic to line up this way, that way. They've done it completely differently, and the results we've expected from Boavista have been completely out of the blue as well.
Here we go. Can they spring another surprise in eFootball.Pro? It's Boavista to get us underway, Harry, as they take on Celtic in their chain strip.
So then, can Boavista shock us once again? Can they continue to produce results? A arguably easier fare than in recent weeks here against Celtic FC, who are in the lower half of the table, but as of late have started to pick up results which they've really needed to get themselves back into the hunt of those top 6 places. Here is El Unici looking for Lee Griffiths through, and early on Celtic with the first real threatening attack, I suppose you could say, but cut out early by Boavista. And we'll have to see, Wes, if the Panthers changed 4 at the back might help them here in the attacking sense, as well as they hoof it clear.
Well, you can certainly see that they're trying to be a little bit more pressing. They're clearly not allowing, or trying to allow, Celtic this room to breathe as Forrest gets in, deflected into the arms of the goalkeeper. And you can see that Celtic are still happy playing the way that they are. They're happy with not necessarily having the ball. But I think the way that Boavista are trying to do is they're trying to they're trying to really push the issue, and I think we'll see what happens here. It's going to be interesting to see how Celtic kind of respond to that type of pressure.
One back there, very, very dangerous game to be playing in your own half of Celtic FC, but we're able to get it clear. Here is Mbombo, able to play it inside, and Celtic sticking with their 5 at the back. We'll have to see if that works out for them. Here is Griffiths with a drag back that we saw Messi use so well. Unable to use it to the same effect, but nice to see some skill, some flair coming out from Celtic against Boavista. And I spoke about, you know, Barbosa maybe saying this is an easier game than they've had in previous weeks. Celtic, I think, will be thinking much the same. I mean, Boavista certainly not tipped as one of the big clubs that Celtic have had to play so far in eFootball.Pro in recent weeks, so we'll see if it happens here again. Tavares with a venomous shot forces a corner. It's a really shot out of nothing, but forcing a corner. We've seen corners so far today be quite prevalent. We'll see if it happens here again.
It'll be interesting to see how they line up at this corner. They do have options. They do have weapons. It's whether they can get past that first man, because as we can see there, El Yunusi comes to try and block that ball in. Doesn't block it, but Ayer will get it clear.
Pressure on though, as El Hamid actually does well to muscle the man off the ball, and now a potential to counter for the Scottish club, I should say. Not going to materialise in this one though. Here is Griffiths. Tackled by Neris there, and now Boavista can maybe come forward. Here is Ng. Could be a 50-50 here with El Yunusi. Ng wins it out and has Cassiano and Tavares to aim for. Good covering though, and one thing I do like about the 5 at the back that Celtic employed and are employing here against Boavista is that, yes, you have 3 centre-backs, but you have 3 players controlling them as well, so you essentially have a centre-back each. Tavares, though, can't find a target in the middle of the box, so it will be another corner, but it's a good game plan, and it's one that I'm really surprised to see Boavista stray from. We'll have to see if they have defensive frailties due to the fact there isn't a player each at the back for them to control, as Jorge is able to block the incoming corner. Spread out wide now to Cassiano, but that is a risky pass back. And now Celtic have a chance to come forward with Jam. Safely back down to Aya.
Yeah, the interesting thing about when that ball goes in, where that ball's being contained at the back there, you can see that the Boavista are immediately trying to press it, as you see there, Bayo.
He's taking it around the keeper, and it's the first goal for Celtic FC. I believe it's Indejawa, the goal scorer. Again, we will get confirmation, but great work by Bayo to take that extra touch around the on-rushing keeper, and Boavista, as they've had to do time and time again in previous match days, to come from behind here early on.
Type of celebration only your brother could do as well.
Taps him on the face.
Taps him on the face. Could I not just have a fist pump, please? That is an excellent finish, though. Celtic only 1 win so far this year, but they have been getting better and better and better, as we've discussed, and now they have the advantage against Boavista. That's a terrific finish.
Here's Bayo. Again, when you are holding triangle to bring that keeper closer to the ball, to rush him out, it always allows you to, if you have the presence of mind and the patience, the confidence to take it round the keeper, that's always on for you. Actually a dominator, so maybe Indejawa their turn provider, but his twin brother sticks it home, and it's nice to see the team captain for Celtic FC get on the score sheet. Here he is again with Bayo. El Yunusi looking for the 1-2, can't quite complete it. Pressure though on momentarily for Boavista, and you could argue that straying away from that 5 at the back might have led to some defensive frailties, but here they come forward here with Cassiano. It is Barbosa through, forces the save, and now another corner for Boavista. They've had 3 corners so far early on in the first half, but nothing really to show for them.
Half wondered if they were going to get a penalty there, but not quite. Got shot away. That's a pretty good save, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were holding fast to see whether there was a manual keeper going to be used there, but like you said, if you hold out long enough, you may get a challenge from an opponent, and it will lead to a penalty.
Tavares for Delanto, but tussle with Julien in the box will allow the pressure to be relieved for Celtic FC so far. 10 minutes to the half. Boavista still have a lot of pairs to play here, so we might not see a knee-jerk reaction straight away to the goal they conceded early on, but so far Celtic FC have looked pretty good for their lead. Lovely switch there to Al-Hamid to really use the full width of the pitch. And Sham now finds El Younisi, who has been really solid in the midfield, and Sham finds Forrest. That first touch though a little bit wayward, allowed the pressure to come in from the Boavista defence, and now what can they do with it? Nothing for now, but G is able to win the 50-50. Idris again, just a little bit of a sloppy first touch, allows Bio to reclaim the ball. That's a ball looking for Jamie Forrest there, through pass, not finding his man, but sustained pressure here for Celtic. El Younisi has Bio in support, looking for Griffiths. What a ball, what a goal! This time it is in Dejawa to score the goal. What a pass it was though to find him, and now Celtic FC finding gaps at the back. Boavista, they are leaking goals.
What was interesting about that goal, all I was watching was the runner going nearest the picture. Didn't even see the pass that was on, and I made that point in relation to Celtic before. They sometimes see passes that nobody else sees. If you look here, I was more focused on
I think it's Griffiths.
You can see there. I know it was El Younisi.
Oh,
and I can see El Younisi, and I was like, where's that ball? Oh, it's in. It's gone in the back of the net. And it's incredible ball into the box.
That's why you're here and they're there.
Exactly. That's it. That's it.
That's why we're all here and they're all up there. But that was terrific. Slick from Celtic, and Lee Griffiths provided the finish and then immediately turned around and pointed to the pass.
It was absolutely, I mean, it was wonderful. It was a run from deep from Griffiths, and Dejawa did so well as soon as he saw that gap in between the two centre halves, sprinted into that space, and it's his 4th goal of the season, chasing his twin brother in the famous green and white hoops of Celtic FC. Could there be a third before the half as we enter time added on? Here is Mbombo, and Celtic look devastatingly good every time they come forward. El Younisi finds almost Mbombo. That was another clinical pass, but that will be the last action, I should say, of the first half, and Celtic FC are 2-0 to the good.
I mean, looking at the way that Celtic have started off this game, essentially Boavista did their team talk for them last week. As soon as they turned around and went, oh, we our season starts now. It's, yeah, your season starts now and you're 2-0 down against Celtic.
Very good point. I wonder if the Celtic boys knew that. They're probably just in earshot, so they might do now. But Celtic joint bottom. We mentioned that slow start, having reached the final, of course, last year, but really now hitting their straps, and this result would move them off bottom. And who knows if they then won the second game against Boavista today. It's so tight that they'd almost be in the top 6 positions, I think.
It would really throw a spanner in the works when you look at the teams contending for one of those top 6 spots come the end of the season. I mean, the likes of Arsenal, who play later today again in the bottom half of the table. Manchester United, who have hit a dip in form, go up against FC Nantes, who are also sniffing around the top 6. So it really is just talent galore here in the eFootball.Pro, and I think Boavista here, where's going to be making some changes, because so far they're not happy with their tactics.
Yeah, well, you can see there they're pushing their defensive line forward, so they're trying to put more pressure on the Celtic's possession, but you've got to do this early, and you've got to get a goal very quickly in the second half just to get the frighteners into Celtic.
We speak a lot about in-game communication. Many of the teams have players sometimes with at least 2 different languages. I think Nantes have 2 Serbian players and a French player. Shouldn't be a problem for Boavista, given all 3 of their players are Portuguese, and these are important decisions to make as a team.
Very, yeah. But these are these are the times where really having 3 nationalities or 3 players of all the same nationality really helps out. Obviously, you have the 2 Dutchmen and the Spaniard on the Celtic side, which means they have to communicate, I assume, in English. Certainly would give Boavista the advantage over their opponents here, but I mean, the on-pitch advantage so far has been certainly with the Scottish club. As we kick off the second half here, the Panthers have some work cut out for them here if they want to salvage any points. Referee will pull this one back for a foul on a Boavista man, but signs of intent, I suppose you could say, here early on in the second half of Boavista as they look to attack the Celtic goal from right to left.
Yeah, well, the key stat just popped up top left-hand corner there. 65% possession. Look at the pass completion as well. 87% for Celtic. They've just, whenever they get the ball, they're just very useful with it. You know, there's no wasted economy in their ball retention.
Just a pass there, shoehorned, looking for Tavares. It's going to put the pressure on Celtic though. Aya with a bit of miscontrol might have just opened the door slightly there for a Boavista attacker, but look at this, they're ramming the ball down the throats of Celtic FC, really trying to play a lot more direct so far in this second half. We'll see if that will help them out when it comes in to play in terms of attacking phases. Here is El Hamid.
Keeping the ball really well here, Celtic. Boavista don't have it, they won't be able to score and get back in the game.
Certainly not a club to panic. Things aren't going their way. El Unisi now. Spreads it out wide. Has Forrest in support and he will use him against Nereus, and he's done well there to beat his man. Again, very patient from Celtic, looking for the killer pass. Griffiths to Bayo! What a wonderful team goal from Celtic FC. I think it's a dominator once again with the finish with Bayo, and 3-0 Celtic. Boavista have stuff to do here.
Well, if we look at teams in years gone by in terms of their co-op names, Dominating Jaro used to be part of Total Football. That summed up in a nutshell. That was superb play to find that inside ball, to find the right ball back, and Bayo's finish from there. It's not academic. Those shots can very easily find the other side of the post and be flying wide.
We just saw the end of that move. Lee Griffiths with the pullback, Bayo with the finish, but that passing move was going on, I think, for a good 5-10 minutes of game time. That was an extraordinary move.
Yeah, I'd like to see a pass counter on that.
Yeah, so would I.
If there's one there, because
if there's such a thing,
the ball went back to the goalkeeper. It then made its way around the back line. It was sublime.
Jorge, it was the Spaniard in the end to fire home the third goal for Celtic FC. So, I mean, all three players getting on the score sheet here. Really commendable, their team play. And defensively, they've looked pretty solid as well. I mean, Boavista struggling to break them down. Here is Bayo.
We queued up Boavista not scoring, didn't we? In the very last bit of interview when they said we're definitely going to score today.
Could they have cursed themselves? Bit of a mix-up there. They just look a little bit flustered when they come forward into the final third. That's a risky one from Celtic, but it does the business, gets the ball out of the danger area, and wow, they might be able to turn this into an attack here as well, as Bayo there just waiting for the run of El Unisi. Again though, as soon as Boavista get the ball back, they're forcing it a little bit too much. Here is Bayo here once again, has Griffiths in support, but just wrestled off the ball in the penalty area. Clearance by Barbosa in the end, and they really need him to step up pretty soon if they want to salvage a result out of this. Here is Cassiano, but 5 at the back for Celtic FC so far. It has been a absolute diamond in the rough tactic, and it's helped them be squeaky clean defensively so far. Here is Tavares looking for Ng. Just wrestled off the ball and adjudged to be a foul there on the Celtic man, so it will be a free kick to Celtic FC. Once again, danger averted.
Yeah, and how this ball just keeps finding its way back to Celtic. It's almost like it's magnetised. Yeah, every time that Boavista look like they're trying to get somewhere into the game, there's a block or there's a challenge, or and the ball just again we talked about it a lot with how Monaco, the way to stop Monaco playing. If you don't have the ball, you can't do damage, and I think perfectly summed up by what's been happening with Celtic here. They've kept the ball and they've retained it, and they've been able to do some really good stuff with it.
And I think we might have seen really essentially the catalyst that Celtic FC have been missing really in their attack. And Fakun Bayo, he really has been almost like a Slimani type player for Celtic FC. They've really fed off his attacks, Wes, and they've looked squeaky clean coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, you look there. I mean, how often do you see 64% possession with 15 minutes to go in a game of eFootball PES? It's very, very rare indeed.
Chance that they might pick up the biggest win, I think, in eFootball.Pro 2020 if they were to get another goal or another couple of goals. This is gone against the very recent form book, but that's why we love this competition.
Stojelkovic to come on for Boavista, and he's a man that's often been starting for them in previous weeks, and this is a risky passage of play for Celtic FC. A goal imminently for Boavista would just open the door slightly for them, but Celtic FC survive for now. Jamie Forrest, that's a bit of a wayward one though.
Where's question for you now? 3-0. It will take a miraculous comeback to pick up anything. Are Boavista starting now maybe to test out some tactics for the return fixture in a few minutes' time?
If it were me, I would start to look at it. I mean, granted, the issue with it though is that you'd be doing it with a bunch of tired players, so you wouldn't really know what works and what doesn't. But if you're looking for a general, looking to sort out the frame of your team, they may revert to type and they may go back to that 5 at the back.
Oh, lovely switch that is. Absolutely tremendous. Looking to find El Unity, but tired legs coming in, Wes, and they are able to, again, be gifted possession by Boavista. They have not looked the same Portuguese outfit as we'd seen before. Eduard looking for Griffiths. Actually, Forrest charging onto it. Could have been 4, maybe should have been, but for some tremendous goalkeeping. And Boavista, every time they get the ball, they're just handing it on a plate back to the Scottish club. And Celtic FC, it might be a rare 3 points for them, dare I say, with 84 minutes gone, 3-0. Surely this one's gone.
This is the first time in my memory this season as Forrest goes through.
Forrest is in. Chasing down though by Lucas.
It's the first time in my memory that their possession game has yielded this type of result.
Eduard has Forrest in support, but again, Lucas there covering this.
Because they haven't really converted those chances. We saw from the goal stats, from everybody, they've not really scored that many goals, Celtic. But first time that their possession game has really yielded these types of benefits.
Stojelkovic finds Mateus, but again, just uninventive for Boavista. Celtic FC will be picking up the 3 points here. I think the question at this point is just by how many goals. Forrest making a late run in behind here. Eduard in support. Can he find him? Ball played in. There's a man charging in at the far post, but charged down by Fabiano. So this surely will be the last kick of the match. Benyu to swing in and out swinger. Celtic at this point, all smiles on the stage. Can they get 4? Will be another corner. Blocked by Joker in the end. Looks like they are going for the in-swinger. Just charged down once again.
This game won't finish.
Into the 3rd minute of 2 added on. They're going to go for the outswinger this time. Eduard with the acrobatics. Can Benyu fire in? A last-minute pass. Bauer charged down by Delanto in the end, and that will be the final kick of the match. And am I seeing Fraser Forster there at the halfway line for Celtic?
Yep, why not go for the 4th? So match 2 is over. Celtic 3, Boavista 0. We talked about a tight league table. Celtic were bottom of the pile. They are now 6th and in the final knockout stage place. That's how tight it is, and that's how big that victory is for the Hoops.
We've been talking previous match days on and on about how the games are running out for Celtic FC. It seems like last week's result against AS Monaco has been a turning point in their season. At that point, no one really had figured out how to stop AS Monaco other than the team they're playing now, Boavista. And even then, they only got a draw. So 2 points against an AS Monaco team who were on fire really seems to have galvanised this Celtic FC squad.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see that the confidence in which they're playing with. They're no longer afraid to pass the ball into spots. They appear to have gone away, have looked at the way that they play, and have trained enough that they actually know where those runs are going to be now. There doesn't seem to be so much of a, well, we'll just play a pass there and we'll hope it gets there. It's like, actually, I know that a player's going to be there to receive that ball. Which
we saw with this goal, which Griffiths finished off, but it was a fabulous through ball. If Celtic were to win again against Boavista in a couple of minutes' time, they would move to within 2 points of Barcelona in 4th.
What a turnaround that would be. Obviously, a lot of PES still to play, and we've seen Boavista in previous match days, Chris, really make the adjustments necessary. And it's a term I use often in the commentary in eFootball.Pro. Making those adjustments and figuring out your opposition. The beauty of playing 2 games back to back is that as you alluded to towards the end of the first game, you start to think about the second game. You start to analyse your opponent, and the more time that you play against them, the more time you get to figure out their weaknesses. And for me, it's intriguing to see Boavista not employ the same tactics that gave them such confidence going into, you know, matches against potentially stronger opponents.
And more importantly, when you look at how they're setting up again, they're setting up in a very similar vein to how they set up in the first game. So clearly they think it was just a case of, well, we just didn't play very well, the tactic's fine, and they've not really reverted to type, which is an interesting choice.
If it doesn't work again, I'm looking forward to Harry asking the difficult question in the mix zone. You going to take it on?
I might. I'm not sure Barbosa will be too happy with how his team have played so far in this match. But again, a lot of PES still to be played, Wes.
Yeah, and you know, we spoke about the kind of the dynamics for each fixture, how every fixture has a little bit of narrative today. This one is perfect because it is a 12-pointer. You know, with Celtic winning that first game, they've now leapfrogged Boavista.
Yes.
Boavista now find themselves out of that. They need to find a response.
Game one today, we saw Monaco beat Barcelona, and Barcelona hit back with a superb second performance. Can Boavista do so here in game two of Matchday 5 of eFootball.Pro? It is Celtic against Boavista, and all of a sudden, last season's beaten finalists look like the team we saw in 2019 as they potentially can consolidate a top 6 position in the table.
They are right back in the mix, and no doubt that's something that Captain and Dominator would have been telling his boys, you know, coming into today. We have a chance to really propel ourselves up the table. They will be attacking from left to right again as Panteras or Boavista FC will be attacking from right to left. And it's difficult to say, really. I mean, when you look at who's sitting at number 3 right now in the goals table, Barbosa really has been kept quiet by Celtic FC so far. Do you think he is the man that Boavista need to be getting in those sort of crucial situations to springboard them back into this game?
Yeah, I think so. I think the first thing that Boavista needs to do is retain the ball. Their possession retention has not been what it has been in previous match days. It's not been there. Whether that's the fact of the tactic being different, whether it's the fact of, you know, the you know, maybe they saw this as a gimme result and they've kind of taken their foot off the pedal. But at the moment, you know, a team against like Celtic, the way that they play their games, you know, you need to keep hold of that ball.
Possession style of Celtic FC has been suffocating the Portuguese outfit so far, and we'll have to see if the adjustments that have been made really help them counteract. And you can see so far, 10 minutes into this game, not a single pass completed for Boavista FC, 0% pass completion. Celtic have played this one perfectly so far. We'll see if their possession gameplay can yield the same results as it did in the first game. Griffiths looking for El Unisi at the back post, but good defensive work there by Barbosa will clear it up the pitch. But again, no outlet here for Boavista.
Yeah, I think every attempted pass they've had, bar the one that's about to happen here, has been a clearance.
Tavares running down the right, has men in support, finds Paulinho in G. The referee's brought it back for a free kick here on the edge of the box. So a chance for Boavista maybe to conjure something up from this. It's just outside the D.
First free kick like this we've seen today.
Will he play it short? It's Paulinho standing over it. He hits it straight at the goal, and I tell you what, if that wasn't blocked, Fraser Forster was cheating to his right post.
See there, Julien had moved himself into the wall to extend it, and that was the player that it hit. It's a very good piece of defending.
Paulinho with the outswinger, looking for a G, straight into the arms of Forster though. And it's interesting to see these two clubs really play the game out so far, but that's a wonderful touch there. Now has El Hamid in. Here is Bayo in support, but unfortunately Lucas, controlled by Captain Barbosa, has been splendid so far, as he was in the later stages of the first game. It's interesting to see these two clubs play out the result that it has so far in game one, when you consider Boavista really haven't had any departures in the winter transfer window. Celtic FC, of course, losing Scott Sinclair was, in previous match days featured as a late game substitute, so You would argue on that respect, maybe Boavista had the advantage coming in, but it's been one-way traffic so far. Forest, looking for Unicy, wonderful late run again from deep. It's the Sonneveld brothers really being daring and confident in their late runs. Lovely switch out to El Hamid. El Unicy now. Back to him. Griffiths there, providing some support as well. Lovely triangles. Finally finds Griffiths, has Bayo through, and that is another wonderful goal by Celtic FC. The patience, the recycling, everything was on point, and they gain the lead here in the second game. Absolutely wonderful.
It's that concentration. It was that will of just, okay, first run doesn't work, where you say, oh, it's a great running by late running. Doesn't work the first time. Okay, we'll recycle the ball, we'll take it out, we'll try and do something different. And lo and behold, this, again, was just the right pass they needed. And it was a cracking ball in from Griffiths, and Bayo's there to sweep it in. It's superb play once again from Celtic, who have really come back to the party.
It's total football once again. We mentioned it in game one against Boavista, and they've sliced through the Portuguese defence. No wonder they are celebrating. Celtic are hitting their straps all right in this season of eFootball.Pro. And what do Boavista do now?
It's the type of goal that we would see from the likes of Juventus, Bayern München. And it's the goal scorer Horcha popping up once again. The Spaniard flanked by the two Dutchmen. Really finding his feet in the eFootball.Pro season. Obviously a debutant this year. Can Boavista conjure up a piece of magic to really set them alight so far? But they've just been, I mean, a little bit lackluster for me. Not been as well oiled, and they seem to be very hesitant to pull the trigger. Now is a chance to do that, but two Celtic men again pressuring the ball early, whereas they've just been lackluster and have been almost afraid to pull the trigger.
Well, that five at the back that Celtic are employing, it's working, and it's doing the exact job it needs to do. It's disrupting a pattern of play that Boavista have. As we say that, Cassiano trying to break through, but again, it breaks down at the vital moments. The Celtic are getting bodies in the way, they're getting the right bodies around the place, and ultimately they're dragging Boavista into a Celtic game. But Boavista are not really able to establish their rhythm and play the way that we know they can.
80% possession, and one of the finest team goals I think we will see in the eFootball.Pro season to show for it as well. 37 minutes gone here in this first half of play. Crunching tackle, and it's like you said, where Celtic really dragging Boavista down into that sort of rugged gameplay that we've seen from them in previous match days. El Unicy first time pass. Bayo finds Forrest, and he's in here as well. Manual goalkeeping, covered the near post, and anything on target there at the far post, that would have been Celtic doubling their lead.
Yeah, that would have been it. That would have been completely it. He does have a man over. If he could have got a ball squared to Griffiths, he just got past the last defender. But again, when you're in that environment, you get a little bit of tunnel vision, and you just try and seal it. Especially when a goalkeeper goes so far the other way, it leaves you, an open gap. You see your name up in lights almost.
I wonder if we'll be talking about that moment come the end of this 90 minutes. But these through balls from Celtic have been unstoppable so far in now a game and a half.
Forrest finds El Unicy. Griffiths goes for goal. Too far past the post once again, but Celtic, they might come to rue that opportunity. Not the one we've just seen here on the replay, but the one previous, as you said, with a man across. I mean, Helton Leitchi in the Boavista goal, just left at sea. Boavista, so far, they have not looked the team that we've seen in previous weeks, and it's almost a shame to say that we're almost disappointed by their gameplay, because they have played so well in previous weeks. We almost expect them to step up to the plate in these types of matches. Last few kicks of the half now. Celtic chase to double their lead. Here is Mbumbo. Tackled late, but the referee says play on. Paulinho with the interception, and that will do it here for the first half here of game number 2. Celtic FC once again entering the half with the lead. 80% possession.
80% of the ball
for you guys who may not necessarily.
That's barely a touch for Boavista.
Yeah, I was going to say for you guys at home who may be looking at playing eFootball PES, and for you guys in the studio, that is unheard of, especially in a co-op environment. That's hard enough to do when you're playing 1v1, let alone when you've got 3 players that are controlling it.
Take a look at the left-hand side. They're just admiring their handiwork in terms of where the attacks are coming from. And
it's unbelievable.
It really is.
Complete domination. We talk about total football. That was total domination. Celtic, as things stand, I had to go. I left our studio position to go and get my notes because I'd left them in my bag around the corner because I wanted to get a copy of the league table before Matchday 5 just to prove to myself that it was correct. Celtic were joint bottom, one of 3 clubs on 7 points. They are now 5th and 2 points behind Barcelona in 4th as things stand. The only good thing I guess we can say from Boavista's point of view is despite that, only 20% of the ball, it is only 1-0.
Only 1-0, and I do like what they're doing here. They're making many more tweaks, I should say, to be grammatically correct in terms of
changes, basically.
Essentially, not only using their fullbacks as attackers now, but also throwing that extra man up front might just give them the extra body they need. But so far, Wes, they've just been way too hesitant in terms of their attacks. I'm not sure if an extra body in the mix might help settle their nerves.
Well, I think it's just a case of ball retention. We've seen from that stat there, 20% possession. You've hardly had the ball. You need to get your foot on the ball, and you need to kind of just get yourself back amongst it. Don't try and do anything too fancy. You don't need to be too technical. Just get the ball to feet and just get yourself back into the game. At the moment, this Celtic attack is imperious at this point. It's I've been the first person to be critical of Celtic in match days gone by about you only have possession and it's only 1-0, or you get 1 goal and that's it. But they've added goals to it now, and this is a completely different beast.
Griffiths then down this right-hand side. He has been, to use the term that you just coined, imperious down the right-hand side. He's been a real thorn in the side of Boavista. Here he is on the ball once again. Can't quite get through the high press at the moment of Boavista, and the pressing is rewarded with a turnover in possession. Here is Idris. Up to Tavares. Celtic defenders claiming offside. Linesman's not having any of it. A little bit better though there. Looking for the ball into Tavares, and they will retain possession here as well. Cassiano swung in, looking for Tavares, cleared by Horcher, and unfortunately it's going to be Celtic once again intercepting, but this is better from Boavista. You don't want to allow Celtic to play their counter-attacking, or excuse me, their possession play. Counter-attacking, we've seen from previous weeks, they've not been as dangerous as some other teams, and if you force them to play out from the back, as they just have, that's where things get a little bit scrappy, and maybe that's where Boavista get back into this one. And Cham, wrestled by 2 Boavista midfielders, has a man over on his left, instead goes to his right to Ng, cleared once again by Indominator.
You can sense a shift in momentum though, can't you, Wes? It's a totally different second half, and Celtic are being asked some questions. Tavares is in here, and Neris does equalise. Boavista needed that. Big celebration, big goal.
Yeah, it's huge, and you can sense from the change they made at the break, from making themselves more compact and for pushing the forward lineup. And like we said, and as Harry alluded to, if you put an extra body in there, is that going to make your attacking play better? And they're giving Celtic something more to think about. Celtic had got into that rhythm, and now they've got something else to think about. Granted, it's a lucky touch there, but again, the awareness there, again, manual goalkeeping. Again, do you go to manual goalkeeping in that environment? I don't think you do. And to be fair, if you're a defender there, you've got to be clearing your lines.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate there. It's an unfortunate goal to concede if you are Celtic FC. Obviously means the world to Boavista, and they're right back in this tie, which is good to see. We never want to see a one-sided affair, but
they have the best celebrations, don't they?
Oh, they really do. You'll hear it.
We'll hear it. And
across the street, across the country. You could probably hear it back in Portugal.
By the end of this competition in 2020, there's going to be one heck of a compilation of Boavista's celebrations.
That's something I think we definitely need for the end of the season. I would like to see a little content piece just of the screams from Yiu and Barboza.
We may well have. And you can see all of those on the official PES social media channels and on the eFootball.Pro website. When the games aren't happening in midweek, if you need your fix of PES action, 1-1 then. 30 minutes left.
How will Celtic respond? Now they have gone, well, I'd say gone behind, but suffered the equaliser. Edouard has Griffiths again in support. Tackled in the end by a Boavista man, and confirmation there on the goal scorer. 4 goals and 4 assists for that man, so good to see. Just as Boavista looked threatening once again on the counter, hacked down by the Celtic player, and Julian will go into the book. It is now a chance for Boavista to lump this one forward, looking for Tavares. Oh, it's knocked down to Mateus, and it's a second goal for Boavista FC. Just 2 minutes ago, they were down 1-0. And all of a sudden, as they always do in the second game, they have come back, and it's now 2-1.
Well, no sooner did we say, or no sooner did I allude to it at commentary going, do you know what, they've added goals to this possession. All of a sudden, it's took a tactical switch from Boavista, and now the game is vastly different. And it's one long punt into the box. It's a bit of a poor clearance, but it's a great finish from Mateus.
That is a belting goal. 2-1 to the Portuguese side, and not for the first time today. We've seen a long ball from around the halfway point. One header, one in the box, but look at that. He had 2 Boavista players on the line, which he almost hit, but he beat Fraser Forster.
I was going to say, there's a question mark there for whether one was interfering with play or not. Slightly controversial there, but...
Do you know what? I think if Fraser Forster had have run into one of the players, he probably would have got the foul, but he tried to stop it. Now Celtic are going to do a bit of a tweak. What a game this has been.
Changing from a 5 at the back now, Celtic adding that extra man into the midfield. I mean, credit to Boavista. They really have shown up once again to the biggest stage, and although they went down by a considerable margin in that first game, never flustered, never ever get too down on themselves, and they find themselves in the perfect position now.
We've seen in history repeating ourselves so far. In fixture 1, Monaco beat Barca and then 1-0 up, and then ultimately lost, and it finished a victory apiece. And now we're seeing the same. Celtic having beaten Boavista, then leading them in the second game. Boavista have come back to lead.
Yeah, I think it's resiliency really from the losing side of the first game. They have to, you know, like we said, you have to mentally reset, and it's that man again, Barbosa, now on 9 goals for the season.
Look at that, 1 assist as well.
Yeah.
Just give him the ball.
Yeah, just give him the ball. But the way that these guys are working, and I made this point, you know, quite a few times, is that Boavista don't really have star players. They just have the sum of their parts. They're very industrious with the ball. They do try and get it through.
Cassiano is in here as well. Oh, is Mateus in again? Double save from Forster, not the triple though. And I tell you what, it's Barbosa again. Now up to 10 goals with the 3rd for Boavista. And Celtic FC have been shell-shocked in this second half. They couldn't find the 3rd save from Fraser Forster. And if you're Celtic, you're saying it's unlucky, but Boavista, they've taken every opportunity.
Yeah, they've worked really hard for this. And it goes back to points that we made in previous match days. We talked about how kind of proud some of these teams are of their tactics, that they won't make a change. They won't make a tactical switch. They won't change their personnel. Boavista at half-time were 1-0 down. They thought, right, we've not been in this game. We'll go and we'll make changes. And it's paid absolute dividends here.
It certainly has. You know what? I'm not sure Celtic can really have anything to complain about, can they? Actually, Forster's bailed them out twice.
Yeah,
and ultimately, you could see with their faces there, what a comeback.
Yeah, you not only saw that from Horcha, I mean, just wondering what else he can do after the double save. Unfortunately for them, Fraser Forster, you know, just spilling it back into the danger area. But if you actually watch that goal back, Barbosa never left his player, never switched. And we can now maybe take a listen to what some of the players are saying as we resume action in the second half. And
Celtic were, if you're just joining us, so dominant in the first 45 of this fixture. Through balls galore, had great chances to go 2-0 up.
Here is Griffiths, finds Forrest almost, but cut out in the end. But you're right, Chris, they were, I mean, up 1-0 coming into this second half, and after winning in dominant fashion in the first game.
20% of the ball in the first period, Boavista, and now they're winning 3-1.
Celtic now, though, will have a free kick on the edge. A goal here would certainly tee us up for an interesting final period. Edouard wide open. Leitchi, though, with a tremendous save, and I believe it's the captain Barbosa with the manual goalkeeping. Not only has he got 2 goals, he's also potentially got a match-winning save.
It was a terrific, quickly taken free kick straight off the training ground, I imagine, was it?
Yeah, you have options at free kicks, that being one of them. If you work it properly, you can leave yourself with a very easy opportunity at goal.
Bombo, surely Benyu's offside here. Linesman agrees as he returns back from the corner. But I mean, one more goal from Barbosa in this match, and we will be awarding a match ball, something that only one other player in the league so far has been able to do, and that's Lo Scandalo of Juventus.
He's got kills you now. Well, in his mirror, those two. It looks like a long way to go, of course, but right now, a two-way fight to win the Golden Boot, the top scorer award at the end of the season.
El Unici. I mean, the build-up from Celtic so far in this second half has been much, much more sloppy than it has in the first 3 halves, I suppose you could say, of this 2-legged affair. Here is Edouard, can't quite turn on the ball, and now a chance for Boavista to break in numbers. Crunching tackle, wins the ball. Back and forth. Bueno, though.
The referee certainly seems to like a challenge with some of those that he's let go, but it's certainly aided the flow of this game.
He's happy to let them play. Mateus closing down. Here is Aya on the ball for Celtic FC and Bumbo. Celtic need a goal, sharpish, and that's what they're going for. Edouard! Well, well, well. 3 game minutes left for Celtic FC to get an equaliser. What a goal that was. They knew it needed to come soon. They fired it in. And that sets us up for a very, very interesting final few moments.
The interesting part is, do Boavista go and try and play professionally here? Whereas, if we remember what happened last match day with one of the strangest own goals I've ever seen, do you risk trying to play it back to your goalkeeper when that type of thing has happened before?
And you may remember that came in the 96th minute, I think.
No, that...
sorry, that was a different goal, but we have seen a goal as late as the 96th minute, so...
Can happen in PES.
Boavista do look like they might just try and keep possession, but here is Mateus.
It's Horcha with another goal.
I mean, he's chasing the goal-scoring charts himself there.
He really is. I mean, he's up into the top 5 now with that, his 8th of the season. Cassiano surely will hold this one in the corner. Beats his man. Looks for Tavares, I think that was. Last-ditch tackle, wins the ball. Bueno. Not where the ball needs to be here for Celtic FC. They will maybe get one last bite of the cherry. Needs to get up the pitch fairly sharpish. Aya. Long ball looking for Forrest, and that's a nice switch of the play, really, but ball needs to go into the final third for the referee to allow play to continue. Here is Forrest into the 5th minute of 4 added on, going backwards now, though. Looking for Julien Edouard. And it's a save from Barbosa. Manual goalkeeping saves the day for Boavista. They get 3 points with a 3-2 win against Celtic FC.
What drama. Devastation for Celtic, who must have thought they were going to equalise there. But look at those celebrations on the right of your screen from the Boavista boys. 1 win apiece. And for me, we've now had 4 matches on this match day 5. I think that was the pick of them. 3-2. Could have finished anything.
Yeah, it was superb play from Barbosa. There's 2 crucial saves. Really, really kind of really saved the game for Boavista. You know, had that goal gone in at the end, I mean, you're talking what would have been 3-3, and it would have been drop points.
Yep, and it would have been 4 points for Celtic. We're seeing some of the highlights here, and in the first game, and actually it continued for the first half of the second match. Some of the Celtic football was, well, I think Harry said it was total football. It might have been you, actually, because 2 of the gents did play, of course, for that total football side, and being Dutch, they love the phrase and love that style of football, but it was that good, wasn't it?
It was. They were superb for that first half. I mean, you know, if you looked at the first game as a whole, They controlled the game and scored goals and, you know, had the lion's share of possession. Second, you know, the first half of the second game, 80% possession. That's, like I said, it's unheard of, even in 1v1, let alone...
It's barely a touch, right?
Yeah, it's
in
essentially...
reality.
In reality, Boavista were just clearing their lines, and it was that, you know, and it'll be interesting to hear from Harry, whether Boavista took those changes and realised that that was what needed to change, because as soon as they made those changes, second half, they came out all firing out on all cylinders.
Well, he scampered down to the mixer, and we're going to hear from both teams in a moment. At these moments, though, Boavista, they're loud when they're on stage, but Barbosa in particular, we've talked about his goals, and he scored the majority of Boavista's goals, but 2 saves, which I think we're going to see in the replay in a moment, 2 saves which were massively important in that